Hello and welcome. As you can tell by the title, I'm the Obsessed Movie Man, O.M.M. At last, the greatest time of the year has arrived, October, which means we get to prepare ourselves for the greatest holiday, Halloween. And this year, we're going to be celebrating something I'd like to call a Very Landis Halloween. And what might that be? Well, my little ghouls, it means we will be taking a look at two horror films, one being directed by John Landis and one being written by his son, Max Landis. After that, we'll hopefully have another film that's not Landis related for you on Halloween, but at the moment I can't make any promises. Are you ready? You're not? Too bad! We're starting things off with An American Werewolf in London, directed by John Landis. When it comes to werewolf films, there are a lot of good ones out there. While my personal favorite is The Wolfman, a close second is An American Werewolf in London, which is not a remake or affiliated with the 30s Werewolf of London, directed by Stuart Walker. The John Landis film tells of two young men, David and Jack, who are traveling across the countryside. A wolf attacks them, killing Jack, but David survives his encounter. David begins to be haunted by Jack, who tells David that he is going to become a werewolf, and that all the people who are killed by a werewolf are cursed to live as the undead. David doesn't believe this and leaves the hospital with a nurse that he's attracted to. But sure enough, David does become a werewolf, and you know the drill. Murder, pleas for help, etc. There's a lot of cliches in this film that you can find in other werewolf films. Some might find it repetitive, but I love them. And besides, they're perfectly rational things. The distrustful bar patrons who don't like strangers, the denial of being a werewolf followed by the cries of being a werewolf and how people must stay away from them. I love it all so much. I admire the opening of the film. We see nothing but gloomy countryside, almost as if it's signaling that something bad is about to happen. The sets and locations all look good as well, such as the bar, the moors, and London at night. There's a surprising amount of comedy in this film, which I didn't realize was going to be in the movie when I first saw it. I find Jack to be especially funny. His interactions with David after he's dead are really amusing. Even when he says something as simple as asking for a piece of toast, I can't help but laugh uncontrollably. Even the scene where Jack and his fellow undead victims give suggestions to David on how he should kill himself while they're all in a porn theater, it's just so weird but really funny. But let's talk about what everyone remembers, Rick Baker's werewolf transformation. This is by far the best werewolf transformation ever put to film. No disrespect at all to Jack Pierce, the master of Universal monster makeup, but he didn't have what Rick Baker had at his disposal. The Wolfman always relied on fades for its transformation scenes, and Lon Chaney never was required to show that he was in physical pain, which you'd think a man turning into a wolf would feel. In this film, it's excellently shown to be an excruciating process. Odds are this would all be done with CG today, but the makeup that Rick Baker did in this scene still holds up to this day. As for the werewolf itself, you really don't see it all that much, but when it does show up, it looks really cool. But not as cool as my werewolf, though. Yeah, I have a werewolf. You want to see? Come on, I'll show you.
Duffy. Hey, Duffy. Hey, who's a good little werewolf? Who's a good little hell demon? You are, yes you are. Who's a good creature of the night? Who's my hound of the Baskervilles? You are. There are some odd things about the film that I'm not too fond of, though. I think that a lot of the dream sequences just come out of nowhere. The ones where he's running in the forest just come and go so quickly, it's a little hard at first to tell what's going on. I don't really like the ending either. It's nothing to do with the story, it's how the film just ends so suddenly. The climax happens, and then an immediate cut to the credits. Why not a reaction shot of the person who witnessed what happened, followed maybe by a crane shot, fade to black, then credits? It might be better than cutting immediately from a dramatic ending to a doo-wop cover song.
But with these small criticisms, I still think that this is a really good movie. It has terrific makeup and effects, perfectly timed comedy, great acting and sets, and an investing story. If you want to watch a good werewolf movie this year, check out An American Werewolf in London. It's a howl of a good time. Until our next segment in A Very Landis Halloween, thanks. This is an O.M.M review. This is O.M.M signing out.